Hey guys, do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? Tell me, tell me, tell me why. Seriously guys, how you doing on this Saturday night? It's alright for fighting. Seriously, how are we? How are we? Guys, what's going on? So, I just wanted to jump on here before I actually walked out the door to go to work to tell you, what do we know? What do we know? Well, here's the thing. Honestly, I was thinking, I got this, you guys send me stuff, yes? And some of the stuff I just find funny. And I know that you send it because it's funny. Like, somebody sent me, like, Gypsy responding to something about her DNA test for the baby, and I said to myself, doesn't she realize that if she wouldn't have cheated on her husband, there would be no reason for a DNA test? Doesn't she realize there would be no reason to speak about her past if she would stop changing the story about her past? So I started thinking about, well, what do we know? Like, what do we actually know now that, these FOIAs have come out? What is debatable and what is facts? So I keep bringing up the fact that I haven't seen an unhappy picture of Gypsy, and people can say, hey, show me some unhappy pictures of kids that, people take. People don't tend to take, but it's in the kid's eyes, like there's a sadness you could see in a child's eyes, not in Gypsy's eyes. Gypsy was grinning from ear to ear, as we know, and really taking advantages of situations that she knew she was taking advantage of. Even the singing situation, even when she's singing, there is no doubt in my mind that she has to know that she cannot sing. She has to know that she is bleeding the ears out of those people that are kind enough and probably drugged enough, I guess, to actually hear her go on and sing like that. She played into the part that she was slower than she is. She's not slow. She's not. She probably is. She's not book smart. She's street smart. And she's street smart, in my opinion, because of the prison, because you get that there. Or you don't come out of there. And probably the grifting that her and her mom did. Right? We know that she manipulated Nick. We knew that before. We know now that since she's come out and lied, that's all been debunked from the FOIAs. There's a few things we don't know. There's a few things that have been speculated upon that I've asked, I've questioned. And I know that some other content creators are checking into this, as they should. So I have questioned that tape, the videotape that came out, the brownie tape that came out, that we've seen 1,000,001 times. We have seen it 1,000,001 times. And we've never noticed what Nick supposedly calls Gypsy at the beginning of the tape.
Hi, honey.
We never noticed the word murderer. The police never noticed the word. Where did that come from? Is that true to source, or was something done to that tape for the content creators to speculate on? And who did it? Where did it come from? How can something that have existed for approximately 10 years be something that everybody has missed? Another question: in the interrogation video, people have speculated about some yellow raincoat. Something I've never heard that. I don't think a lot of us have heard that until somebody, I don't know. I don't know. I know that I got, as you guys know, I got a video after I said something about Nick and how I felt the NPG Cornerstone videos are all, they're AI. They could be AI. How do we know what Nick's saying? How do we know what wasn't manipulated? AI is unbelievable right now, right? And then somebody went ahead and they sent me the AI of Nick saying it's AI. And, so did somebody do that with the yellow raincoat, and why? What do we know? And why isn't that enough? Things like that, in my opinion, only cloud what the facts are. And the facts are Gypsy Rose is out living her best life, even as she says, eating royal mashed potatoes, eating steak for the first time, which is bullshit. Off the back of her unalived mom. That she hired somebody, whether she used her body or a promise of love or whatever. I don't believe she loved Nick at all. Not at all. I believe Nick was used for this. And the FOIAs and the interrogation and the no bus ticket, these are facts. These are the facts. That's what I know. And she's 8.5 years and Nick's doing life. And it was all her idea. And we know that out of her own mouth. She said she went to unalive her mom another time with the BBGUN, right? The only problem is we don't know, because she changed her story, if Gypsy really thought it was a real GUN or if she knew it was a BBGUN. Either which way, who does that to another person, let alone their mom? And if you hear Gypsy say it in one breath, she says, I didn't even realize what I did. By the time I realized what I did, I had unloaded everything, and I didn't even know it wasn't real, or, and then the next, of course I knew it was a BB gun. You don't know, but did it happen? Yeah, apparently it did, because apparently Dee Dee actually did go to the hospital and they did make up a story, apparently. I think that there's enough facts that no more needs to be invented. What do you guys think? How could we have heard something we've listened to the video, right, of the brownie, but did we all really miss the beginning of that video and what was said? And the cops who have had that in their possession for that long, did they really miss that too? Or was something added to it? That's a question. I'm asking a question about that. The yellow raincoat, I don't believe that was ever said on that. I don't believe that was ever said. I do believe that Nick said that he would apologize to everybody but Dan. I heard that. my theory is still that Gypsy did some of that because it was just so brutal. And Nick, I think, either unalived an unalived woman or basically put her out of her misery from. I don't think Nick did it all. And I think that Gypsy was planning on leaving the scene, and then for some reason that wasn't going to happen for her, and it was too late for her to do anything, so she ended up leaving with Nick, and that's why the bus ticket was bought later. And I think that Nick was actually supposed to still be unalived at that scene. So guys, we've had the FOIAs, we've seen the several different things. Now, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think that we missed something as significant as the word murderer at the beginning of that brownie video and yellow raincoat man? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't believe in the theory of a bunch of people being at the scene. I do think that Gypsy wanted to be with Dan. And I think that that's proven because she said, that she even reached out to Dan after, or wanted to have sex with Dan before, or whatever with Dan. And I think that she thought she had a future with him, and when she realized she didn't, she had to go with Nick, but the plan was already in motion, that she was going to unalive her mom, take everything that was owed, or she felt was owed to her, and leave. And when Dan no longer wanted to be part of that, or maybe, I'm not saying that Dan was there. I do think that maybe Dan came in on the scene and said, man, this isn't something that I signed up for. But even if he wasn't, Gypsy, we see how she is. When she wants something, she's going to go for it. So, maybe her and Dan weren't everything she thought, or what he thought. Maybe in her mind, I don't know. Maybe this was a way of her being with him in her mind, and it just didn't work out. He might have made 100% clear at this point, I don't want to be with you, and that's that. And she ended up with Nick, or he came on the scene and said, oh fuck no, man, and that was that. Either which way, Nick was definitely plan B, and he was plan B, I think, at the last minute, and he was only kept alive, I believe, because Gypsy didn't have a choice about the situation. What was she going to do all alone? Anyway, that's my feeling, guys. Tell me what you think. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am, you're not. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind. I'm going to start covering some other cases, guys. Please show support in those other cases as well, because they're important. Thanks, guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. See ya.